Well, let's get more reaction from opposition political parties now on the ANC NEC outcomes. I'm joined by UDM leader Bantu Holomisa and COPE spokesperson Dennis Bloem. Gentlemen, thank you very much for making time to talk to us. I want to start with you, Dennis Bloem. And with that particular statement that you issued a few days ago, reminding South Africans why Mosiuoa Lekota, when he was in the ANC at the time, had attempted to fire Magashule as his MEC in the Free State, all because he was trying to save the ANC. Why was it important for you to give us that reminder?
Good morning, Xoli, and good morning to the generals and the listeners and the viewers. Let me start by saying, Xoli, we don't want to interfere in the issues of the ANC. The ANC is having its own problems, and we are also having our own problems. We don't want to go, but it's very important that people must understand and know the history of this country. You see, Xoli, Ntate Mosiuoa Lekota is vindicated once again. Ntate Mosiuoa Lekota was the premier of the Free State, and he was fighting corruption. He hates corruption, that man. He was fighting corruption. There was serious allegations against Ace Magashule, who was an MEC in the cabinet of Ntate Lekota. And when Ntate Lekota wanted to act against him, then they had a meeting planning to say no. Ntate Lekota is sowing division in the Free State. They went to Shell House. It was Shell House at that time. And they make up a story. The National Executive then had a delegation led by Jacob Zuma. Jacob Zuma came to the Free State and investigated the case. He went back to the NEC and said no. His proposal is that, and he and the committee, that Lekota must be removed from the Free State because it's just causing trouble, division, and killing the party in the Free State. They said he must be put as an ambassador in Japan. He refused point blankly because he asked, "What is my sin?" They could not answer. Then the second proposal was he must be deployed to the NCOP. He also refused. Was it not for the respect of Nelson Mandela? Comrade Terra was having very, very great respect for President Mandela. Mandela pleaded with Comrade Terra to say, no, come and work. We need somebody as the chairperson of the NCOP. He then agreed on that. But Ace Magashule, coming to your point, Xoli, is a problem all the time. All the time. Many people, not only in Ntate Lekota, there is many people, that senior leaders who have started with when the ANC was unbanned. Many people who have worked very hard to build the ANC in the Free State. They are now sitting next to the road. He have destroyed many people in the Free State. It's Magashule. Right. I understand, Xoli.
Go on.
I understand, Xoli, why there was a letter, an email the other day with from Steve Chabalala saying Magashule must taste his own medicine. I understand why people are so angry, because many of them, including Steve Chabalala, was his puppet. He have made and he have dumped them. Most of many of his close comrades, he have dumped them. Now they are coming up and talking. When we were telling them from 94, this man is problem, they defended him. Look what is happening now.
All right.
He is creating havoc in the ANC.
General, let's bring you into the conversation. Some time ago, you called for the ANC to be replaced as a governing party in order for an interim government to lead South Africa because of the mess that you said was happening. Are you in a position to reverse your statement, given what some analysts like Mcebisi Ndlejana are saying, that we are waking up to a new reality in the ANC and divisions seem to be narrowing, and that perhaps could give whoever is leading or is in charge of the ANC at the moment the leeway to properly lead government?
Well, one must say I don't agree wholly with that statement of Prof. However, we must commend the President for showing some guts in dealing with the scourge of corruption. Mm-hmm. However, the danger here is that the hyenas in the NEC have watered down the Nazareth resolution because they would have not survived the Nazareth resolution in its purest form. Mm-hmm. Now, coming back to your question, I think the opportunity has now prevailed itself mm-hmm. to call for a national dialogue of the like-minded national strategic leading entities, including the political organizations, intellectuals, academics, security personnel, civil society, to chart the way forward without waiting for the governing party mm-hmm. to self-correct, because we will be reburying ourselves forever. Citizens of South Africa are being awakened of what ANC leadership is all about. Mm-hmm. We are still waiting for the Zondo Commission to publish its findings and recommendations. And it's anybody's guess that it will pronounce that the actual people who have captured this South Africa and its resources is none other than the ANC and its leaders. So for how long are we going to wait for that nonsense?
So when you say...
Okay, go ahead.
Sorry, I interrupted you.
Go ahead.
When you say, therefore, that citizens of this country must chart the way forward and not wait for the ANC to self-correct, so to speak, what are you calling on citizens to do exactly?
That's precisely why I'm calling for a national dialogue of all the people of this country to meet and discuss the current situation, which has been here for almost 15 years. We can't wait for the ANC to self-correct itself again. That's why I'm saying we're waiting to be reburied again.
Dennis Bloem,
the solution will come from those citizens.
Mr. Bloem, let's bring you back in. You were just reminding us of why Mosiuoa Lekota at the time had problems trying to rein in Ace Magashule, if you like. Let's react now to what is currently happening inside the ANC? Does or should it give South Africans some hope that things are possibly going to turn for the better?
Xoli, the whole fight within the ANC is corruption. It's corruption. You see, this step aside business that they are talking about and what ACE is fighting. ACE is charged with 21 counts of fraud and corruption. Now, if the people of South Africa want to see a better life for all, they must stand up. I agree with what the general is saying. You know, freedom is not in the hands of anyone, but freedom is in the hands of all of us, the people of South Africa. You see, Xoli, you must go to the Free State. Go and look there what corruption have done to the Free State. The place is in tatters. Saturday I was in Kroonstad for a funeral. The entrance of Kroonstad makes me cry. The streets are right inside the central business district in town. What about the townships itself? It is a mess, and not only there in the Free State, in Kroonstad. The entire Free State is like that. Corruption. You see, this asbestos houses, there in Kroonstad, I showed people, here is an asbestos. These people are going to die. They are dying a slow death. Where's the money? The 255 million rand? ACE is facing those charges now. Now, we are saying, as the Congress of the People, people are having their freedom in their own hands. It's up to them if they want to be free. It's not up to the ANC. I don't believe in that, because they are having their own mind, and they can free this country, the people themselves.
Perhaps to your point, General, that the people of South Africa cannot wait on the ANC to self-correct. Something needs to be done. A dialogue must happen now. I want us, after the break, to continue this conversation on that vein, because we are now told by the president of the ANC that there have been threats to the lives of the officials of the ANC, key among them Jesse Duarte, who now will act in the position of Ace Magashule, and the life of Andries Nel, who is a coordinator of the ANC in the NEC. It's just shocking, but perhaps that will be a good point to pick up on. We're also going to keep a watchful eye on the proceedings at the State Capture Commission of Inquiry, the one that you've just mentioned, General. Lucky Montana is back on the stand. We're also going to take you there after my conversation with the two gentlemen. We continue the conversation in a moment. Very good morning to you once again. If you're just joining us, we are in conversation with opposition party leaders. UDM leader Bantu Holomisa is my guest, alongside Dennis Bloem, who speaks for the Congress of the People. General, let me come back to you. You said that South Africans cannot wait on the ANC to sort itself out, and those words perhaps are very important, because the president tells us yesterday that there has been a threat to the life of Andries Nel, who has been working in the office of the Secretary General, and Jesse Duarte's life has also been threatened, and these are going to be investigated. Does that tell us that perhaps things are either changing for the better, I keep using this word, or might things actually get worse in the ANC?
Well, unfortunately, I'm not going to do a guessing work on that issue. It might be like that. The president has got tools to verify the authenticity or otherwise of those allegations. However, what we would like to see debated in such a dialogue I'm proposing is to look holistically as to where are we now? How have we traveled since 1994? Where are the inherent defects, if there are any, and how to fix them? High on the agenda, which I think has caused the lack of services to be provided to our people, is that whenever there is a change of leadership at government level, those who are there with institutional memory would be pushed away, and then the new cadre come in order to accommodate or be rewarded for whatever they have done during the campaigns. So there's a lot. It includes the security, everything. South Africa today is the filthiest country in the world. You go to any town, any village, townships, informal settlement, the waste is strewn all over, the rubbish. I mean, this is not on.
Dennis Bloem, on governance matters, you've already touched on it, and you've described for us the state of municipalities in the Free State. Just moments ago, on this channel, in our early morning show, we had the MEC of the Northwest, Madoda Sambata, talking to us about how governance, and in particular the management of the COVID-19 situation in that province, is being affected by the instability that is playing itself out in the ANC, which is affecting the work of government. For how long must this continue?
No, Xoli. You see, we are always saying that these people must not come with an excuse of COVID-19. This thing comes for years. And I will say, since, you know, when the president was still the president, the country was going on to a right direction. When Zuma took over, then things went, and we warned them. Ndatelekota warned them there in Polokwane. Don't elect this man as the president of the country. Now, they must not come with a story. This thing of COVID-19 is now a year old. This damage is more than 10 years old. This damage now, the story that I am repeating, going to any township, any town, not only township, town, you will see that what damage this corruption have done to this country. This load shedding is because of corruption. And people don't want to talk about it. People are scared and say, no, we will correct this thing. It's because there's like Mondan, the railway line is gone. A whole station is gone. Now, it is all because of corruption. Tiglam Balula have said that the security services were outsourced to so-called MK security people. That's why we are sitting here, because of those types of things. Corruption is the main cause in the ANC. Nothing else. There's no politics there. The politics is outside. Corruption. They are fighting for money, like a criminal who is doing this cash in transit. They are fighting amongst themselves for the loot. That is what is happening right inside the ANC. Right.
All right.
That is the problem.
Let's conclude this conversation. General, it would be remiss of me not to put you on the spot. You are an opposition leader who was expelled from the ANC, and the country remembers exactly why that was at the time. You have been calling for an interim government to come in because the ANC simply cannot manage because of corruption and all other issues of infighting. But the troubles that plague South Africa today can also be laid at the door of opposition parties who are often referred to as weak and cannot be a credible alternative to the ANC. How do you respond?
It is unfortunate that people have short memories. It was the opposition parties which challenged the status quo by going to the constitutional courts, calling for the charges against Zuma to be reinstated. It was the opposition parties which organized the biggest march in this country, calling for the president of the ANC, then Mr. Zuma, to resign. It was the opposition parties which applied, for instance, in the Constitutional Court for a secret ballot to be used against the leaders of the ANC in the House when the ANC was closing ranks to protect their own against the interest of the country. Yes, the opposition continues to expose these shenanigans. But, you know, in Parliament, that party which has been surviving out of government monies, as we have heard from the Bosasa, is the one which have always protected these thieves and hyenas. I hope that now that they are going to be found by Zondo Commission, that they have misused billions of rands to sustain their party. Then the South Africans will listen more, that when opposition parties are speaking, they will not just dismiss them. No, you don't have numbers. We want quality debates here.
Bantu Holomisa, that's a good point to leave this conversation. Thank you very much for your time, leader of the United Democratic Movement. Dennis Bloem, thank you very much for your contribution to this discussion. He is the spokesperson for the Congress of the People.